We were having a conversation right before we recorded this episode, and we were talking about how one of the mistakes people make when it comes to becoming more successful is they get stuck where they are because they are afraid to risk what they have to get what they desire.
Emilia went to our whiteboard one day and she wrote FERPA, F-U-R-P-A. We are going to talk about that today.
Next Level Nation today for episode number 2232. Rate yourself on this. I was reading a book recently, and it was essentially talking about... What is it?
You've become a sophisticated individual.
I am quite.
You're an avid reader.
I am an avid reader.
And an avid fisherman.
Less so now, but I'd say an avid golfer. Replace fisherman with golf. I was reading a book with my ears, as one does, and they said something along the lines of, when people go all in on something, it's actually not as risky as you think. That was a piece of it. It was the most successful people in the world aren't actually taking as big of a risk as you think. And I was like, that's dumb. There's no way that's true. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Because what you're not thinking is some of the most successful people in the world are also some of the most competent through practice people. That's one. They all have massive self-belief. That's two. And they just don't ever stop. So yeah, they're going to be successful eventually, but that's not the majority of... That's like me saying, yeah, when I get under the squat rack and throw 300 pounds on there, it's never a risk. It's like, well, for me, it's not, but if you're just trying it for the first time, you're going to probably break yourself in half. That's terrible advice. Point being, I think that understanding your level of risk tolerance is key for success.
Well, the problem with this is it can change.
It does change.
It does change.
For sure.
Kev was reckless, but also risk averse. It's weird. You're a weird bird, man.
Maybe.
It's not of use.
What is not of use?
Explain success principles. You as an example is not of as much optimal use as I would like. Okay, FERPA. Fear, uncertainty, risk, and pain avoidance. Emilia came up with this. And we have our own little language about things that, like this, for example. What's their FERPA score? So, for example, another tiny side tangent. If I asked Kevin his REAP score, that would be how many hours of REM and deep sleep did you get last night?
Oh, fucking garbage. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that I am not optimizing sleep like you. I can't imagine a world where I ever do. I can't.
You are the captain of your own ship, and
I can't imagine. I can't even fathom it. It seems impossible.
Yeah, it is. It makes everything harder.
I like getting up early. I do. And it's like, am I just telling myself a story that I actually like getting up early? I just like
whenever
being in
you
control.
say things like this, though, 3 or 4 years later, you're always like, oh, fuck yeah, I did it. There's always resistance. There's resistance.
It's not even resistance. It's hopeless. It feels hopeless. I'd love to do it.
It is unbelievably difficult. Genuinely. Emilia and I will be on the way to the gym and we want to get an hour in and we only can get 45 minutes in. And we'll have that moment in the car before we get in, just like, fuck. And I said, sweetheart, that's what it takes. We both got great sleep. Like, it costs so much time to get great sleep. So your REAP score is the amount of REM and deep sleep. For me, it was 2.5 hours last night, which is not good. I'm trying to get above 3. She is unbelievable. She gets 4+.
So what is it? REM and deep?
REM and deep.
I'm at 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Nice.
Last night was 3 hours.
That's good. If you're above 3, that's very strong. 4 is insane, world class. 3 above 3 is really good. Anything lower than 2, you're in some trouble, for sure.
I got to go to bed by 9. If I go to bed by 9:30. Went to bed at like
sleepy time tea, man?
No.
We did dandelion tea.
Dandelion root?
Yep, that tons of benefits.
Nope, that ain't it for me.
Okay. Well, anyways, 4 is unbelievable. If you have an Oura Ring or whatever you track your sleep on, REM and deep sleep is your REAP score. But that's not what this episode's about. This episode is about FERPA.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And by the way, the better you get at sleep, the more risk you can tolerate. Ooh.
Well,
Because
nice.
I always say whenever I don't get good sleep, it feels like the sky is falling. Okay. Fear, uncertainty, risk, and pain avoidance. My thesis, and the reason we're doing this episode, is because I believe that the higher your FERPA score is, the less likely you will be successful long term. That is my thesis. That is my hypothesis. Now, as a scientist and a researcher, that's what I want this to come from. I don't want anyone to be personally attacked. I don't want you to feel personally attacked. This is a bird's eye view of statistics and success of if you have 1,000 random people, the people with the highest FERPA score are the least likely to be successful. So Warren Buffett has a quote. He says, back in high school, I want you to look around the classroom and I want you to think, if I could have 10% of the success of any one of these individuals for the rest of my life, who would I pick? And then he proceeds to say, if the answer is not you, what in the actual fuck? He didn't say that. That's my part, obviously. The truth is, I used to, and again, I would hear these quotes and I would think, and I'd go, me. I would bet on me, for sure. I was in a class with Julianne Reardon. She was our valedictorian. And I remember thinking, me.
I would have picked her.
For sure, everyone else would have too.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying, I'm just, if she was in my class, I would have picked her every time. I would never would have picked me. I don't know. I'll give you five guesses. Pick anything.
Is it because of her FERPA score?
It's because she was very intelligent and I was not.
Yeah, she killed it.
The higher the numbers, the better. How do we, what is it, on a scale of 0 to 10?
FERPA score, higher the worse. So higher FERPA score means you have a ton of fear, a ton of uncertainty, a ton of risk, and a ton of pain avoidance. Pain avoidance means you basically won't do hard things. Fear means you are constantly riddled with fear. You're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Uncertainty means you can't. We were watching Iron Man 3. I told you about this yesterday, and he has panic attacks in that movie, like anxiety attacks is what he calls it. And I turned to Amelia, and she said, so my dog kept barking during one of the scenes. I kept going back. And she said, can you please stop going back to the fucking anxiety attack part? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she said, yeah, no, I used to have anxiety attacks way back. Not a ton, but a little. And again, I don't know. I've never had one. And I turned to her, I said, I don't think I've ever had an anxiety attack. She said, you definitely haven't.
Yeah, I've said that many times.
How do you know? That's what I said to her. I said, how do you know?
You can just, game recognizes game and game recognizes lack of game, baby.
It's like, and again,
you know how? Because you would never, and I'm not saying you do this consciously, intentionally, toxically, you would never minimize it if you've experienced it. You'd get
minimize it
unintentionally. I think a lot of people minimize something that it's hard to empathize. It's hard to sympathize with something you never had, right? That's like
it's
what empathy is.
Well, one of those. The thing that I said to her is, is this like when I see someone who had like a really good childhood and it's so obvious to me? And she said, yes. It's so obvious when someone had a wonderful childhood. It's like, oh, you have no idea. And I also can tell immediately if you had an alcoholic parent. I can see it all over you. But anyways, FERPA, fear, uncertainty, risk, and pain avoidance. You and I have low FERPA scores. You were reckless, luckily. And if you weren't, there's no way this would work. Dude, straight up. You were reckless.
It wasn't the most constructive.
It was reckless.
I think we're missing a piece because...
How reckless were you?
It was very reckless. Some of the most reckless people in our high school are not successful. Most of the most reckless people with the highest risk tolerances in our high school are not successful.
I know. That's why it has to be intelligent risk.
Well, that's got to be for pie or something.
for pie. Yeah, so it's fear, uncertainty, risk, pain avoidance, and intelligence.
Yeah,
for IQ.
or strategy or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be
on this. Who would you bet on? You're in a class. There's 100 people. Who are you betting on? It wouldn't be Julianne Reardon anymore, would it? And again, she's very successful. Julianne, if you ever were to see this, you're amazing. This is nothing against you. It's just everyone just goes to the valedictorian, but that ain't it.
I didn't even know what the valedictorian was.
I would love to see the stats on this. The valedictorian, I used to say the world doesn't run on 4.0. It runs on 3.5.
I don't know what my GPA was. I couldn't give a fuck less. I don't know what
Well, the
spot I
world doesn't
graduated.
run on that.
The entrepreneurial, 100% the entrepreneurial world does.
No, it
100%.
doesn't.
Of
no,
course it
a lot
does.
of entrepreneurs know their GPA.
Well, they aren't like me.
Exactly. Yeah, you're an anomaly.
Come at me, bro. I would probably still bet on the person who is the smartest, in my opinion. Yeah, because
How many smart people do you know that are lazy as shit? And Julianne, you are not lazy. That is not what I'm saying.
A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people.
To me, no, that ain't it.
Well, okay, who would you? It can't be you.
It's got to be like the number 3 person with the chip on the shoulder. You got to bet on the chip. Got to. It's like a Julian Edelman, you know? I know no one knows that. He was on the Patriots. I'm reading a book by Bill Belichick. He was the head coach of the Patriots. The Patriots were the best team in the NFL for like 20 years straight. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Julian Edelman, whatever. It's a global podcast. I know, my bad. I love this book.
Good example.
Julian Edelman was small, but he was unbelievably disciplined. And I love the book because you get to hear the behind the scenes stories that you don't get to hear normally. It's one of the reasons I love books. And Bill is talking about Julian and how much of an anomaly he was. He was the underdog, and the underdog doesn't take it for granted. And I guess he would, in the middle of the night, go and like throw a tennis ball against the wall and make sure he could catch it every time and make it harder and harder and harder so that he had the best hands. And he was a wide receiver. But I love that shit, man. You can't bet on the person who it's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. It's that, but it is the dog in the fight. It's that. It's both. You need both. And you can't have a ton of risk avoidance and pain avoidance. Like Julian Edelman, literally, I saw the dude get a concussion in a Super Bowl and then go into the next play. Like he could barely walk. And there's something in that. It's reckless, yes. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but that is a testament to why he's successful. Like he'll die for it. And I don't know how to teach that.
You don't teach that. I don't think that's there. I'm telling you, there is some level of. I've always said this. I've always respected somebody that is like has self-destructive behavior. I don't know why. I just always have, in a positive way. I've always respected somebody that's like Sean Thornton's one of my favorite hockey players of all time. He was not good at hockey. He was really good at fighting, and he always stood up for his teammates, and he always did like charity stuff. It was like, you're a badass on the ice, but off the ice, you seem like a really good human, and I like you. I respect that. Authority. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan. I don't know.
How's his brain doing now, though?
Not great, probably,
You
unfortunately.
gotta play the long game, too. See, this is why this is a good conversation.
I know.
If you and I could pick 100 people out of a room, and you and I like actually interviewed them all, and we were just talking about external success. We're not talking about character or anything like that. What would you look for? What are the top 3 things?
We're going to talk about one of them tomorrow. I would look for the purpose underneath why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing this for? You want to be rich? I'm not betting on you.
Yeah.
If you're doing this for money, if you're doing anything just for money, I'm probably not going to bet on you.
Agreed.
And because I wouldn't want to work with you anyway. That's one. One would be that. 2 would probably be discipline. Like, how disciplined are you as a person? Mm-hmm. So what's the why? How disciplined are you?
Which go hand in hand, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Here's the thing, though, and this is why maybe I get a weird pass in this. It's less risk when you're working with somebody who is telling you exactly what to do to succeed. So I don't necessarily need somebody who has a super high risk tolerance if I say, no, trust me, this is exactly what you need to do and it'll work.
Well, in this scenario, you don't get to talk to them or mentor them or coach them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If that's the case, I would just pick the hardest worker who has the most discipline and the most humility.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah. No, you can't mentor or coach them. You just get dividends of their success.
It's weird. Do I have to give them money or anything, or I just pick them?
Yeah.
Cool. I like this game.
Yeah.
Discipline.
When you interview them, what questions would you ask?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never interviewed almost anybody.
What do you mean? You interviewed me 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't for like a job.
Oh, you meant for a job, yeah.
You know, I interviewed you for business. I don't know. It's really interesting. It definitely, I think self-belief would be on there.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So I don't even know if this...
The answers wouldn't be what you go off of. You'd read between the lines.
Yeah.
I do think, and sorry to interrupt you, one of the cool things about what we do is this. We've just got so many hours of contemplating what actually makes people successful.
If I asked somebody on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you, and they were really a 10, would they say it, you think? Like, would you say it now?
Yeah, but that's metacog. I wouldn't have said it in the past. Maybe I would have.
What do you think?
You can't use me. Bad idea. One thing that I will say is I interviewed Lauren Johnson on Business Growth University. That's going to drop Monday. Friday or Monday. So today or Monday. I got to check in with the team.
Today is technically Sunday. So it's either...
So tomorrow. Probably
2 days
tomorrow.
ago or tomorrow.
Check it out. See if it's there. She didn't understand that she's super confident. And on that interview, that will be very obvious. It's like, it's very clear to me, and I mean, Lauren, if you were listening, I'm not trying to offend you. I have studied people on both sides much more because I had you. She worked with the New York Yankees, and the lowest confident person on the New York Yankees is probably a 10 out of 10 confident.
Right. Yeah.
But they would never say that they are. Because that devalues, well, you don't know how I got here. You don't know where I started. When people say like, well, you were just gifted. Everything came naturally to you. Yeah. But that also devalues what I had to do to get here. It's not like I was I wasn't born a golden goose. Like but the more I coach, the more I realize like, oh, you're playing with different stuff. I remember I spoke at WPI and I remember thinking after I left, like, oh,
it's a different game.
I knew business better than all of you by this age by far. And I was kind of their first engineering intro to business. And I remember thinking like, oh, you guys don't know anything about business. This is fucking crazy. Like, you guys are engineers. You need to learn this. Otherwise, you're just going to end up someone else's pawn in their chess game. Like, you have to learn this. What the fuck are we doing here? But that's also, I didn't realize how much I studied. Like, I studied Apple, and I studied Microsoft, and I studied Bill Gates and Paul Allen, and Steve Jobs and Wozniak, and I studied tech. I studied stocks. I studied everything. Just naturally. I studied the whole fucking film industry. I had dreams, and I wanted to understand how Brad Pitt got where he was, and who produced what film, and who was the director, and how that worked, and how the studios paid the directors, and the budget for the film, and the marketing.
I have to interrupt. While I would love to hear about your studious studies,
yeah,
I have a podcast.
I know you got to jump.
And my risk tolerance for being late is low as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's wrap this up.
I think we got to do maybe a part 2. I do.
Oh, God.
I mean, we didn't even really talk about it.
All right. At very least, everybody get their FERPA score.
Well, we'll see if we have to do a part 2. I don't know. That would be my takeaway as well. But how do you increase? We didn't talk about how you increase your risk tolerance. We didn't talk about any of that.
We should do a part 2. Green, yellow, or red.
We're going to do a part 2.
Fear, uncertainty, risk, pain avoidance.
All right, we're going to do part 2. All right, we got to hop. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And if you are as committed as you say you are to getting to the next level, you want to increase your risk tolerance, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we will be here to help you do that.
Keep reaching for your full potential. Next Level Nation.